Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome back to the Denver Bears franchise. We are now here at the trade deadline, and we have a lot of questions to answer before heading into the second half of this season and season number 3's off season. Now, the playoff picture is probably out of the question, but we need to start answering some questions about some guys going forward. How about German Marquez? He has been a lifelong Rocky/Bear, but he's making $9.8 million, and a playoff team could use him at the trade deadline. We might lose him for nothing in free agency in the offseason. Then there's also John Gray, who's actually having a career year. 1.26 whip, 3.99 ERA. He's pitching really well. I kind of want to keep John Gray around along with Derek Rodriguez. Those two are both pitching really, really well. How about our future, though? I think that's one thing that we have to address here. We have really three sure bet starting pitchers, and I think it's Atlas Luntich, D'Anthony Pierre, who could end up being just a relief guy. Then there's Justin Maxwell, who I think is going to be a very good starter down the road. But Maxwell's got at least another year in the minors before moving him up. Atlas Luntich could probably be up next year, but Pierre, I don't really know. We'll have to see how he develops. Now, one guy that is at the top of our trade list and on the trade block right now is Gary Sanchez. What's funny is look at the +8 in power versus left. I have no idea how he progressed that much there while only hitting 187. I mean, the guy has this is kind of a bad contract, $14 million. But here's the thing. Last season, if we flash back, there were two other teams that wanted to pay him as well. And those two teams were the Atlanta Braves and also the Cleveland Indians. Both of them were offering just below $14 million. So maybe one of those two teams will want him this time around. So I look at the trade block, and there are a couple of guys that they have listed. First is Tristan McKenzie. This would solve one of two issues. Actually, two issues. First, getting some youth in this rotation. We definitely need that. And then adding a nice potential in our rotation. Right now, we have guys that are very low potential, maybe B or A right now, but really have a low ceiling because of their age. So I like Tristan McKenzie. I think he's a very good pitcher, obviously struggling right now with the Indians. He actually has 3 years of MLB experience in this franchise. Then there's Touki Toussaint, but he is not doing well at all for the Atlanta Braves, and that's why they want to trade him. Look at the whip. I mean, you can't get much worse, and it's because his walks per 9 is extremely low. He's kind of a guy that's going to be hard to trade, and I'm not even going to touch him. So I offer up Gary Sanchez for Tristan McKenzie 1-for-1, and they want to accept this deal right away. But I want to be realistic with these trades. This would be a trade that would not happen, especially for Gary Sanchez, who's hitting below 200. There's no way that they will accept him. Even though they tried to get him in the offseason, no way that that's what they will take. So I look at the other catchers they have. They have Roberto Perez, who is 34. He's been a lifelong Cleveland Indian. And I like him a lot. I think he's a guy that could help us out right now. There's also Austin Hedges, who is 30 years old. He is B potential, 80 overall as well. But they would not trade away Bo Naylor. I think that's pretty unrealistic for them to trade away their top catching prospect. But then I look at our future prospect and Rafael Marchand. We definitely just want a guy who will be a kind of a bridge to Marchand. I have not given up on him. We've been developing him, and I want to see what he's got in the future. He's actually kind of struggling this year, but I still want to see what he's got. I know he's got a lot left. He's 25 years old. He's going to be a good catcher for us. So then I decided to go after Roberto Perez, get that veteran catcher. He's on a 2-year deal, a little less than Gary Sanchez's. But then I have to add a sweetener, and I add another outfield prospect. We have a lot of those in our organization, and this is Jordan Jones, 23 years old, B potential. We drafted him in season 1's draft, and you know what? We have a ton of outfield prospects just looking at everybody. Will Benson's still there. Weatherspoon is still there. Zach Veen is there. Eric Pena. We have Takahashi as well. So many outfield prospects. So I don't feel bad giving up Jordan Jones, and that will execute the trade as Roberto Perez is now the starting catcher. We do need to add another catcher, which we will do a little bit later because Martin Maldonado is hurt for the next 2 months. But right now, I like Perez. He was a good fit for our team right now, especially seeing that, you know, we have a future catcher and we add the main piece, which is Tristan McKenzie. So then we move on to our future at shortstop. And this is a question that we've really been debating here. And really, it was really getting a future catcher, like a nice catching prospect, or CJ Abrams, who is a guy behind Fernando Tatis. And he's actually pretty good defensively. Look at that, 81 fielding, 77 arm. He's only 21 years old. He's got a lot of developing to do. He also can run extremely well, 88 speed. Now, he's going to have to battle with Brian Rocchio if we do get him. But I look at what the Padres need, and I just look at their schedule a little bit, and they've lost like a ton of close games. I think they just need something to get them over the top. So I look at their infield. You know, they have Jake Cronenworth at second base. He's actually pretty good for them. I don't think they really need an infielder. But then I look at their outfield. Trent Grisham hitting about 238. His backup hitting about 220. And then Will Myers is hitting very, very poorly this year, 229. So I think they need an outfielder, and maybe we can help them out with that. But it looks like they also are doing pretty decent with their starting pitching rotation. But their bullpen is what caught my eye. That's the part that's struggling for them. You know, they have Pomeranz, who's over 150 whip. Dan Altavilla is over 143 whip. Iglesias is at 143 whip. So I think they need another relief guy. I think the reason why Jacob Junis is struggling so much with us is that he just hasn't had the success along with the team. I think that's definitely hurting him. So I think giving him a fresh start, giving them a good bullpen guy, he's high 80s with his strikeouts and his walks. So I'm going to add him to this trade. Now that is one of their top needs as well. But then I look at Will Benson. I just can't give up on him. I know he's struggling right now. He hit 198 at the MLB level. And at AA, he's only hitting 250, but that on-base percentage is at 410. But I want him to develop just a little bit more. I can't give up on him right now. But I look at other outfielders. Hito Takahashi is interesting for us. I like what he is doing right now, so I think that he is pretty much untradeable. But then the hottest hitting bat in AA is Eric Pena. He is 71 overall. He is A potential at 19 years old. But in order to get a good prospect, you have to give up either a star MLB talent right now or a future superstar potential guy like that. And we will trade Eric Pena. I know some of you guys might be upset, but we're trading an A potential guy for another A potential guy. And we grab CJ Abrams. He immediately is our highest rated shortstop in our organization right now. That puts Brian Rocchio kind of on the hot seat, but you know, I'm going to let his minor league career play out this year, I guess minor league season, I should say. And then we'll decide in spring training what we want to do, because Rocchio could play at second, CJ Abrams could play at short, but then we also have Zion Storm, we also have Ryan Vilade, we also still have Jose Iglesias. What are we going to do with him? This is a good problem to have. Brendan Rodgers is having a good season as well, so we're going to have to address that in the future. But right now, I do need a backup catcher, like I said earlier. And one guy that caught my eye, he's kind of an older guy. I'm not really looking for a future prospect. We already have our future at catcher with Marchand. So I want to go after a nice little catcher we have here with the Padres. And Walter Fields Jr., we'll have to give him up. He's actually pretty decent, but we have so many outfield prospects that it won't really hurt us too bad. So we will make that trade and get Sawyer as our backup catcher. So now we move to the debut of Roberto Perez on the Denver Bears. He is signed for the next 2 seasons, so let's see what he will do for us this year and next season. So he's hitting 245 on the year. Here's his first at bat up with the Bears. It's a base hit to left field. Good start to the career of Roberto Perez as he gets a base knock there. As now he comes up for his third at bat here, 1 for 2. Still facing Noah Syndergaard. This one's a ground ball to short, and it will be thrown on to first by Lindor. And too bad he doesn't have speed, because he probably would have beat that one out. So 1 for 3 so far in this game. Denver has the 2-1 lead. Here is a hanging breaking ball on the outside part of the plate, but another slow roller to Lindor, and that one is a 1 for 4 day for Perez. But now we go into extras. Here is Charlie Blackmon at the plate here in extras. He hits this one to right field. That one will get through. Weatherspoon will try to score from second, but get gunned down. That is Byron Buxton in right field. I tested his arm. I don't know why I did, to be honest with you. Weatherspoon has good speed. Not good enough there. He gets gunned at the plate. That brings up Josh Fuentes with a 3-2 count with 2 outs and Charlie Blackmon on first base. Let's see if he can continue this extra inning here in the top of the 10th. Pitch is on here. This is a low pitch. He swings at it. This one's driven deep to left field, and it will reach the wall. Home run for Josh Fuentes. I like what Fuentes is doing. He's hitting around 250 this year. I'm not expecting him to be, I know he's not going to be a 300 type hitter, but have a guy that's going to drive in runs and hit for extra base hits. He's been doing spectacular at that this season. So that moves us to the bottom of the 10th inning. Here's Carlos Estevez in a little bit of trouble here, but a bouncer to second will get us out of this game with a victory, 4-3. How about the game from Fuentes and just seeing our guys start to kind of win some games with our bats? And we got 11 hits in this one. I think we can start to make that move away from 30th in on-base percentage as far as team ranking goes, but we'll have to see. I'm very hopeful for our future. So to end the month of July, we end up facing Philadelphia in a 3-game set, and this actually was very, very bad. We lost 2 of 3 from them, including a 16-1 loss, and then we ended up dropping a 4-game set versus Washington. So we are now officially on a 6-game losing streak to start the month of August, but we definitely had a tough schedule there at the end of that month. But now we start the next month versus the Houston Astros, the first place AL West leading Houston Astros. And let's just see if we can return home, get a win in front of the home fans. And we will give Tristan McKenzie his first start with the Bears. He's with a 4.97 ERA this season, 1.42 whip. It's obviously not great, but I think he's got a bright future. And another young arm we add. We did this before with Ramel Coffer. Hopefully it works out with Tristan McKenzie. So here is a fly ball to start out the game, and that is caught. And McKenzie has 1 out. As that brings up the next hitter, this is going to be Dansby Swanson, who signed there in the offseason, and he will swing and miss. He replaces Carlos Correa. Is now here with 2 outs. Yordan Alvarez to the plate. Ground ball to Fuentes. An easy out. 1-2-3 inning for McKenzie. Good start. So he came into this game with low stamina, so he's only going to pitch about 3, maybe 4 innings this game. So that's going to bring up Keston here at the plate. He's returned from injury, hitting about 258. He's hitting the ball well. He hits that one hard to right field. That one will sneak past second baseman. And Hira is a double machine. He hits the ball really, really hard. And the benefit of that is that when it's hit hard like that on a line drive right past second base, it's a gapper. It could be a double each time. So that brings up the all-star Jose Iglesias to the plate. He will fly out to center field, and a nice throw will hold up Hira at second base. As that brings up Winston Sawyer, who we just acquired via trade as a backup catcher. He hits one to right field, and that one will just be a fly out. But he's a decent hitter. We'll see if he can get his bat going. He's off to a rough start right now. Tristan McKenzie on the bump still in the 3rd inning, facing Yordan Alvarez. As you see, he's starting to get tired here, but here's a line shot to center field. But Garrett Hampson, with great speed in center, gets to that one. Nice throw in to Fuentes at 3rd, holding up the runner at 2nd. So now 2-2 count here facing Alex Bregman, and McKenzie does get him to fly out to Blackmon in left field, and no runs given up for McKenzie through 3 innings. That brings us to the bottom of the 4th inning. Jose Urquidy facing, that's going to be DJ Weatherspoon at the plate, and he smokes 1-2 center field. That is gone. 452 feet off of the bat of DJ Weatherspoon. That one was gone in a hurry. He's 5'7", but he's got power. I mean, he just absolutely smoked that pitch. And now it's a 1-0 game in favor of Denver. Fuentes at the plate up next, and he hits one to the right side. That one is a nice hit. Fuentes is really a good hitter. I want to see if he can really ascend with his average, get that average up. I still like Fuentes a whole lot. That brings up Jose Iglesias, who hits one hard to the right center gap. Here with 2 outs, let's see if we score another one. Fuentes, he's going to round third, head home, and the cutoff man is missed, and that one brings in a run. It's now 2-0 here in favor of the Bears as the manager comes out and talks to the starting pitcher, Jose Urquidy, as you move this one on to the top of the 6th inning. Here is Yordan Alvarez at the plate, now facing Derek Rodriguez, but Alvarez gets the best of it, and that one is a home run. There is a huge benefit to being a nice right-handed hitter in this park. I mean, that fence in right field, if you pull it just right, it's a short distance. That brings up Alex Bregman to the plate now, still with no outs here in the 6th. That is a hit down the right field line. DJ Weatherspoon fields that one, comes up throwing, but now they have a man on first base. Kyle Tucker at the plate. He hits one up the middle. Derek Rodriguez knocks it down, but it's going to be thrown onto first. And that one will be the first out of the inning. But Derek Rodriguez is shaken up on that play. It looks like it's not a huge injury, but we will have to bring in Robert Stevenson out of the bullpen. We already had him warming up. But that brings up Jose Altuve, who turns on one. That's to left field. Blackman has it coming up throwing, and the throw is offline, and that will be the second run across the plate for Houston. And that's the thing about Blackman. This is probably going to be his last year in the outfield at least. I still don't know what I'm going to do with him in the offseason. So that's going to bring Robertson in with a man on first base, and now we get a strikeout, bringing it to 2 outs. Corey Lee, one of the top prospects in baseball, will strike out swinging, and that one will get us out of that 6th, 2-2. So now we move on to the 8th inning. Robert Stevenson is still on the mound as he gives up a hit to right field. And now they have a man on first base here, no outs. Let's see if Stevenson can pitch his way out of this one as Kyle Tucker comes back to the plate. He hit one hard up the middle last at bat, which injured Derek Rodriguez. And now with the 1-2 pitch, he leaves one right over the plate. That one is gone in a hurry. What a mistake there as Tucker is eating and running around first base. And wow, that pitch got too much of the plate. He just absolutely missed his spot. Robert Stevenson knew it right away. That moves us to the bottom of the 8th inning, now down 4-2 in this game. Here's Weatherspoon, who already had that homer earlier, hits one up the middle on a hit and run, and that one will get runners on first and third here with 2 outs. And DJ Weatherspoon on first base, he's always a threat to steal, but I'm not going to steal him with 2 outs, as that brings up one of our most dangerous hitters probably in the history of this ball club, Charlie Blackmon to the plate. Now with the 1-2 count facing Michael Givens over the plate. It's going to be driven deep to right field. That's gone. Off of the bat of Charlie Blackmon. His 16th home run of the year. Couldn't become any bigger than this one because we were looking for a spark win versus a first place team in the Houston Astros. And we get it off of the bat of Charlie Blackmon. How about that smoked shot over the right field wall as that brings in Nick Goody to close out this game. And let's see if he can get us the save as that brings up Alex Bregman here with 2 outs, man on first base. Goody with a slider, and that will get a tapper in front of home plate. Sawyer throws to first, and we will get the 5-4 victory to end this episode. Good to see it. And how about the game from Weatherspoon? He had a multi-hit game. Blackmon comes through in the clutch. You got to love what I saw from Tristan McKenzie on the mound. And we win this game off of 7 hits. We manufacture 5 runs. Goody gets his 15th save of the year. He's taken over that closer role. And we get that victory here at home in front of the home fans. You got to love it. Iglesias hit the ball well, too. His average is starting to come up, and Hira hits the ball hard as always. So we are 42-62. We actually have a tough start to the month. We do face San Francisco in a 4-game set. That one maybe should be a winnable series. But then we play Houston on the road. We play San Diego at home. Washington comes. And then we go on the road to play San Diego once again. That's a tough stretch of games. But the lasting thought before we end this episode is really, what do we do with Charlie Blackmon? It's going to be interesting because I don't think he's going to be our left fielder next year. If anything, we're going to sign him and put him at first base. He's going to take a major pay cut down from $18 million. But here's the thing. We have first basemen right now coming up in our organization like Muhammad Willingham, who's going to be ready next season. So I don't know how that's going to work. Let me know what you guys think we should do with Charlie Blackmon. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe we even platoon those two. Have Willingham versus left-handers and have Charlie Blackmon versus right-handers. Who knows? Anything can happen the rest of the way. Hopefully we stay under our goal of 90 losses or less. I don't want to hit that mark, but we'll see. But how about those trades? Let me know what you guys think. And let me know down in the comments section what you guys think of this Bears team heading down the stretch. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I like getting money, I got time to get it. Target on me, so my car's a tenant. Dancing with the devil, I don't bargain with it. Bible in the dash, and the stick is with it. And I hit the 4-5 on the west side. But I'm from the east side, this how we slide. This how we ride, yeah, this how we ride.